Jay, I wanted to get your opinion on this. Have the courts essentially become the new legislative body in U.S. politics?
Yeah, absolutely they have, and we've seen it coming for years. With the left in particular, they are so good at just winning in political strategy that for years they have been using the courts to get their way. If they can't get their way legislatively, gay marriage is a great example. They're in most states unable to get their way legislatively, so they just go to the judicial branch. They've got to find that one judge or that one court that is going to do their bidding and do what they want to do. And it's just so frustrating now as Republicans and conservatives in Wisconsin that are finally making some headway. I mean, we've had to wait decades to get control like we have control now. We've had to wait decades to get true conservatives in office, and most of the Republicans in Madison really are. And so now we're starting to pass our legislation and move our agenda. It's so frustrating to have the liberals in Wisconsin resort to the same old song and dance of, okay, now we're not going to just make you pass the legislation in the Assembly, pass it in the Senate, get the governor's signature on it. Now we're going to make you fight it out in court too. It's almost as though legislative approval and legislative passage is just a preliminary now. Oh, okay, now we go to court. Very frustrating.
Well, would you support this? Any lawsuit that challenges an act of the legislature would be randomly assigned to one of the 72 county circuit courts, so that every one of these lands in Dane County?
Yeah, I love that idea, because right now everyone does land in Dane County, and then thanks to Leah Vukmir, she at least got a bill passed that indicates that any sort of appeal has to go to an appeals court outside of the district of Dane County. That's great, and we've already seen that pay off, by the way. Yesterday, 2 different appeals courts, not in Dane County, kicked the voter ID issue directly up to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. If that were hanging out in Dane County, you know that appeals court would sit on it for weeks, if not months. So that's already paying off, but that's another great idea, yes. If you're going to challenge and it's been brought up before, I don't know that they are really going to look to pass it again, but wouldn't be a bad idea at all, yes.
If you could choose only one winner of the upcoming elections, would you rather have Scott Walker win or the Republican nominee for president?
That's pretty good.
I do like that argument. Boy. I'm going to answer Walker because it now appears that my biggest fear, Obamacare, is going to be taken off the table. I really wanted a Republican president for, if no other reason, to just kill off Obamacare. And I said during the show today, if the Republican president did nothing other than kill off Obamacare, that's a huge win for us. He could sleep the rest of the 4 years. But because there's some assurance now that that's going to be changed, I think it's just so vitally important for Wisconsin to have Scott Walker in office, because it also sends signals to the rest of the country. The rest of the country is watching Wisconsin so closely. You've got everyone from Michelle Malkin to Andrew Breitbart before he died. You've got these great conservative names coming through Wisconsin and learning the story and going out and telling the story. And you've got the liberals and the unions and the White House, the very White House focused on Wisconsin. There's so much that is at stake in this race. It's incredible. So not only that, but I want 20, 30 years of Republican reign in Wisconsin now. The Democrats had that long. We deserve that long. Let's really start moving to legislation. Right to work, done.
Jay, I know you had this as a topic actually probably 3 weeks ago, and the only concern I have is, again, and not to keep pushing my topic or question, but if the Supreme Court wasn't where it is thanks to Republican nomination, Obamacare may not be coming off the table.
It's a huge concern, of course, and too many voters don't take that into account. You have to figure that Ruth Bader Ginsburg is very likely to step down in a second Obama administration, maybe even a Stephen Breyer or Anthony Kennedy. I don't know how old he is, but I think James Madison appointed him. So that was actually Reagan. But he's getting up there in age as well, and you know that there's at least going to be one, maybe two. You really get concerned if it is someone like Kennedy. Kennedy has been that swing vote already, and if we lose him, well then you do have a liberal court. And of course, we've now learned the lesson. Both parties have learned the lesson. You find someone in their 40s who's going to be there for 30 or 40 years. It used to be in this country that you waited for the venerable, white-haired, very accomplished judges to achieve the type of status that was deserving of the Supreme Court. Now it's find someone who agrees with you who's in their 40s who's just going to do your bidding for 40 years. So it's a very important consideration when you're looking at beating Obama. Of course, let's just do both. Yeah, let's just do both.